Okay, so this is definitely a rough one. Directed by Rod Lurie and based on the nonfiction book by journalist Jake Tapper, The Outpost is a fact-based military drama set in 2009 Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom and taking place entirely within the infamous Fort Keating outpost, detailing the events leading up to and during what became known as the Battle of Kamdesh, wherein 53 American soldiers and their Latvian military advisors found themselves defending the outpost situated in an absurdly difficult to protect position at the base of 3 cliffs in the Hindu Kush mountain region near the Pakistan border in an Alamo-style aggressive siege by Taliban militants. The film divides its action neatly in half, running about 2 hours, with about the last full hour dedicated to restaging the battle itself in what has to be one of the all-time, oh shit, yeah right, this is a war movie, snap out of character drama, transition scenes in recent memory. I mean, it takes a lot to make me jump, but hot damn, this one caught me. Prior to that, as you might expect, it's all about spending time setting up the characters, their relationship dynamics with one another, and the Afghan locals, and enough sense of day-to-day operational life to get everyone on the same page, and taking the time to subtly set up a working sense of battlefield geography so we have a sense of where everything is going when the shooting starts. Now there's a level of formula to this kind of filmmaking that's probably unavoidable, especially since you're following a fairly well-documented recent real event involving people who indeed live and die by practiced procedure even under duress, but it doesn't feel rote or overly familiar, mainly because director Lurie and screenwriters Eric Johnson and Paul Tomasi stay rigidly fixated on the realistic interactions that avoid melodramatic Hollywood war movie cliches, and because they've assembled a capable cast of actors who are all handing in fine, engaging performances. In fact, some ways it's a who's who of guys who you know are good but really don't often get the chance to be good, including stars like Orlando Bloom, Scott Eastwood, Jack Kesey, Caleb Landry Jones, and up-and-comers like Milo Gibson and Philip Scipio. Eastwood in particular is probably better here than he's been in anything that I can think of off the top of my head. The kind of performance you'd call a star turn in a movie that wasn't so resistant to star moments or unnecessarily action movie flourish. That's not to say it's some kind of docudrama once the seed portion does kick in and Laurie's penchant for long takes and tracking shots turn the experience of being targets in a literal shooting gallery situation into a genuinely riveting experience, which, while it's not looking to reinvent the wheel of military action scenes, feels very in the now and present, stylish without relying on over-stylization, with a sense of pace and aesthetic informed more by the middle ground between real field footage and first-person shooter energy than yet another attempt to outgun Black Hawk Down. In that same vein, it's equally refreshing that the first half finds a space between the raw and gratuitous when it comes to establishing the kind of gallows plus locker room humor fatalism that informs the social dynamic of the soldiers' interactions. It's not exactly news that Hollywood and filmmakers in general are often noted to just not really get it when it comes to depicting the lives of soldiers in general, but especially in the field, with a lot of that owing to the fact that the people making films don't often have these kind of experiences themselves. And apart from technical nitpicking, the place where that really often shows, even to a civilian outsider like myself, is in trying to capture that specific sense of humanity, whether by overcorrecting and sanding the edges off the reality, or by unrealistically doubling down on it, as happens when certain filmmakers treat having enlisted men as characters as an excuse to have fun with politically incorrect language. Which is why it's welcome to see The Outpost's first half avoid those kind of cliches or either extreme of idealism or caricature, instead focusing on delivering a real sense of who these men were as people rather than ideological props, I guess. I mean, look, there's no way to make a non-political movie, a war movie in particular, in the same way you can't have a non-philosophical movie, but the presentation here is about as close to being free of political superficiality as a war film can probably get when it's a true story. And while I guess it would be reasonable to level a critique that there isn't really much message or subtext here beyond war is hell and this is a real thing that happened to these guys, but does there need to be? I mean, of the supposedly over-repeated themes pop culture keeps going back to, is war is a terrible experience, this is what it looks like and inflicts upon the people you send into it, really something that anyone thinks we could stand to hear less or think less often about? Especially when, we keep doing this thing that we know is hell, and we're not exactly doing a great job looking after those people who come back from it. But, okay, in any case, as a film, The Outpost, very good. It's visceral, the action, well, fun is not a word I'd use, is engaging as hell, the performances are the real deal, and it's easily Rod Lurie's best film ever, period. Giving this one a 9 out of 10, check it out.